Hey guys, and welcome to another little stream here. Yesterday I already discussed some stuff regarding race, and today we're back at it with the whole Oscars so white controversy, which you probably heard about if you're watching this by now. Jada Pinkett Smith, Will Smith's wife, said she will be boycotting, I guess, by not attending the Oscars. And I really don't even I'm not too invested in this topic because I don't care about the Oscars. I don't care about award shows. I personally feel like it's just an extra pat on the back for something you already got paid a whole ton of money to do. I mean, if I were getting paid a couple $1 million to be in a movie, I wouldn't really care if somebody acknowledged the greatness of my role in said movie. I'd be laughing to the bank because I just got paid a shit ton of money. But that aside, let's just talk about what's going on here. We're going to go through this little article, and as usual, I will stop here and there and give my thoughts along the way. So, Will Smith has joined his wife, actress Jada Pinkett Smith, in vowing not to attend the February 28th Academy Awards ceremony in protest over the lack of diversity among nominees in major categories this year. Smith's decision comes as pressure mounts on the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences to address what many are calling the organization's diversity crisis. They always make up these new terms. Like, what's a diversity crisis? Can you really be in a crisis from a lack of diversity? Is that really harming somebody? I know people will say it does because they're not being represented and whatnot, but no one can seem to really give a good answer, or at least maybe that's just my opinion, but I don't feel like anybody can give a good answer as to why it's necessary. Smith told Good Morning America anchor Robin Roberts on Thursday that he is uncomfortable with the situation. For the second year in a row, the 20 acting nominees are all white. The ultimate crime in this day and age. Smith generated Oscar buzz this award season for his work in the football drama Concussion. I didn't see it, so I can't say anything about his performance one way or the other. My wife's not going. It would be awkward to show up with Charlize. He said, "We've discussed it. We're part of this community. But at this current time, we're uncomfortable to stand there and say, this is okay." But they don't know for a fact that the reason that nobody that they feel deserve to be nominated, or the people of color, as they said in the video, and yes, Will Smith now says people of color. I used to watch Fresh Prince of Bel-Air and his other movies, and I don't know, he just never struck me as the kind of person to use that language. It's just weird. I watched the video at the top of this article and listened to him talk, and I've seen him in interviews before, and he always came across as I guess, kind of charming, well-spoken, charismatic. And in this, he just sounds like a mindless drone. Like, he's talking really strange. He sounds weird. I mean, you can watch it for yourself, but to me, that he just doesn't seem like himself. He seems slow somehow. I know that I'm not making fun of him or anything. It's weird. Smith has previously been nominated twice for Best Actor for 2001's Ali and 2006's The Pursuit of Happiness. He lost both times to other black actors, Denzel Washington for Training Day and Forrest Whitaker for The Last King of Scotland. To me, that was huge, Smith said. So when I see this list and series of nominations that come out and everybody is fantastic, that's the complexity of this issue. But it feels like it's going in the wrong direction. So he's complimenting them, but then he's kind of taking it back. This is going in the wrong direction. Why, though? Because people that are on the nominated list are the wrong color. It sounds so backwards and archaic. I mean, this is the kind of thinking that the civil rights movement was against. So it's like it's going full circle, and now we're back to the point where it's coming from the opposite end, though. We're looking at race when we shouldn't be. And I know that the civil rights movement didn't end racism by any means. I'm not even going to try to deny that, because I see racism on a near daily basis. So I'm not trying to deny that. Let's see. Smith said he has a responsibility to speak out or risk contributing to the problem. There's a position that we hold in this community, and if we're not a part of the solution, we're a part of the problem. And it was her call to action for herself and for me and for our family to be a part of the solution. That's interesting. You guys are insanely rich. Why don't you be the change that you want to see and use that money and do something about it? For my part, I think I have to protect and fight for the ideals that make our country and our Hollywood community great, he continued. And so when I look at the series of nominations of the Academy, it's not reflecting that beauty. Oh, so it's just not beautiful enough. Okay. But it bugs me because I don't feel like they really care about the little people. Because this isn't even a concern of anybody that's not involved in Hollywood. So this is just a bunch of rich people posturing about the typical talking points of diversity. Although his wife's call for a boycott was partly motivated by him getting snubbed for his role in Concussion, Smith insists the root of the issue is much bigger than that. Oh boy. So this is so deeply not about me, he said. This is about children that are going to sit down and watch this show, and they're not going to see themselves represented. It must be a cold day in hell to hear that come out of this guy's mouth. Why on earth? I can't get my head wrapped around this whole representation thing, because never in my life did I ever feel like anybody on the television screen represented me. See, only you can represent yourself. If you're looking to other people for representation, you're doing it wrong. You represent you. There's a regressive slide towards separatism, towards racial and religious disharmony, he added, and that's not the Hollywood that I want to leave behind. Well, honestly, I think that the whole separatism thing, it's not just in Hollywood. I feel like there is a lot more. We're getting to a point where there's more racial tension again, where people do want to be closed off in their own little communities again, and it's weird. I think I've seen this on both sides, and I think it's stupid on both sides. There's no reason to go backwards. The angry response to this year's Oscar nominations has steamrolled in the past few days. Pinkett Smith expressed her outrage last week after January 14th nominations announcement. Director Spike Lee joined her in vowing to sit out the ceremony, although on Wednesday during a GMA appearance, Lee made a point of telling anchor George Stephanopoulos that he was not calling for others to boycott the ceremony. I guess that's good at least. Also on Wednesday, past AMPAS board member Quincy Jones said he would seek to address the current board next week on the issue. Jones is the first African-American to be appointed to the Academy's Board of Governors and the first African-American to be awarded the Academy's prestigious Jean Herschel Humanitarian Award. He's also a four-time Oscar nominee, and he executive produced the Oscar telecast in 1996. So, look, I don't pay attention to the Oscars, so I can't sit here and talk up to you about how there's been so many black actors and actresses nominated and winning awards. I'm sure there have been quite a few. And this guy right here, it says he's a four-time nominee himself, which begs the question, if people are being nominated, if people are winning, why is there a problem? Just because 2 years in a row, 2 years out of the whole entire history? Okay, I'm probably going a little far on that, because I remember hearing that there were issues in the past with that. But 2 years in our so-called post-racial current era, which, once again, I don't think many people are past race. Some of us are, some of us aren't. But my problem is that there seems to be a lot of ignorance on both sides of this argument. On one hand, we've got the Smith family here, or at least the wife. I don't know how invested the others really are. They're talking about how they need their representation and we should boycott, blah, blah, blah. And then on the other side, you have all the people in response to this taking the chance now to talk about stupid things like, oh, well, maybe we should request the NBA, gets more white people's and all that crap. And I don't feel any of this is productive. All it is sarcastic, snarky back and forths, and nobody really coming to any kind of conclusion. It feels like, and I understand why people make those comments, but I don't really condone them, because the way it comes off is it sounds like these people are legitimately bothered by this, and what they do is sweep it under the rug and save it, and they wait for one black person to screw up, and then they throw up all this shit like it actually matters. Look, if race doesn't matter, then it doesn't matter. And it doesn't matter when other people want to bring it up into the topic. Give them real reasons as to why it doesn't matter. Don't just come back with, well, maybe we should have the BET reconsider their award show or something stupid like that. It doesn't help any. It just makes you look stupid. Or as stupid as they look. So, like I said, the idea that anyone needs to see themselves represented, it's ludicrous to me. You represent yourself, and I think boycotting some irrelevant award show is ultimately pointless, It sounds like Will Smith didn't think any of the stuff himself that he said in the video, and he just kind of parroted the social justice 101 typical talking points that don't really mean anything. I think absolutely everyone deserves a fair chance. There's no disputing that. However, that chance has to be earned organically and not put through some sort of arbitrary quota based on representation. And that's where I'm at on that. I don't even care about the Oscars. I think really what's bugging me about the whole entire situation is that it's just a bunch of rich people complaining. You're rich. You've got all the money in the world. You have the freedom to live your life the way you want in a capitalist society, because you can afford above and beyond the basic needs to live. You can travel, you can, you are free to spend your money to create things you want to. Not everybody has those luxuries, and for you to be sitting there and whining about some stupid award show that is really just some congratulatory circle jerk pat on the back is ridiculous and shows that you don't really care about important issues. And that's it for me. Thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you next time.